Hello, YouTube. You know, one of the cool things about being stranded in a van you live in is being stranded in a van you live in. Actually, I'm not really stranded right now. I am waiting for the patch that I put in to fix the hole here for the leaking coolant, which, if you're not aware, as I wasn't until it happened, on a 2003 Dodge Grand Caravan, the coolant actually cools not only the front, it also comes to the back because there's AC in the back too. And there's like a little connection here underneath here. There's a, I'm not gonna crawl under there because I showed it in a previous video, but there's actually a pipe that runs under there, and it had a little leak, it had a little hole. So I was able to patch it with the JB Weld water weld. Well, I don't know if I was able to, but I did try to patch it. We're gonna find out here as soon as it sets, which is why we're here kind of semi-stranded. But the cool thing is this van has pretty much everything we need. So instead of just sitting here twiddling my thumbs for about an hour or so, I'm gonna go ahead and cook up something to eat. And you might be kind of surprised that you know, and of course being stranded at Walmart is like the perfect spot almost. It's got food, water, even coolant. I didn't get coolant. I went ahead and just got water from there to fill up the missing amount. It only drained down about 1/4 of a gallon. Is how much had drained out. So luckily I was able to, you know, catch it in time and add some coolant before the engine overheated or something. But I mean, I didn't add coolant. I just added water to fill it. Should probably add coolant, but 1/4 of a gallon, I think it's okay to use water. Anyhow, look what I went and bought today. Yeah, I know you guys might be a little shocked here, but this is actually pork. Is that crazy or what? I know we just went through a week of eating pork, and it might seem really weird for me to buy pork right now when I'm actually at Walmart and can choose whatever I want pretty much. But I decided to get the pork because the last meal I made with the barbecue pork, you know, chunks, that was so good. So what I did was I got this pork stew meat for $3.27 on sale today because it expires. I think it's still good. What we're going to do is we're going to be cooking this up with rice. I'm not even going to use the inverted cooking system because I'm stuck here for a while. So I'm going to cook the rice on here as well as the pork. And that is my plan. So stay tuned. Should be pretty interesting. Alright, as some people do wonder about proportions, I'm going to go ahead and do this here on camera to show you how much rice I roughly use. I'm hoping to make just one serving here. Maybe I'll make two because I'll probably have rice later. So I'm going to make extra. So I'm going to make enough for 2 servings of rice. And I just kind of eyeball it. I don't really measure it. I'm trying to see if there's a marker on here of how many. It says it's 1 cup of rice. So I'm slightly at under 1 cup of rice in there right now. And I think that'll be enough to make 2 different servings of rice. And what I'm going to do now is add some water. Now, something that you need to note is that I'm just going to add some Zephyr Hills water here, but this is not normal because I'm not cooking it in the rice cooker. I'm cooking it using fire here from the stove. So what I found is that I think you have to add like more water than if you use the rice cooker, you know, normal rice cooker, unless I can control the heat here and keep it from boiling over. So you can see I just added a little bit of water. I think it's at the 2 cup mark, I think. So it's like probably 1.5 cups of water. But basically I got the water to like about the 2 cup point. And I may have to add some more while it's cooking, depending. Because what I'm going to try to do is control the water to keep it from boiling over. So I'm going to keep an eye on it as it heats up. Because I know in the rice cooker it never boils over. It always just cooks and stays in. So we've got our unit here all hooked up. And you can see the notches there to lock it into place. It is in the thing. I'm going to bring this guy down here to release the gas and then flip and up it goes. Now, I notice a lot of viewers are concerned about my safety and talk about me cooking directly on aluminum, using this aluminum pot here to cook by applying the heat directly to it, and you're talking about gases being released and stuff, but essentially when I'm cooking it on the electric, it's still doing the same thing, you know. They also sell like pots and pans that are made out of aluminum. So I'm not sure what the difference would be between this, doing this, and using an aluminum pot or an aluminum pan that was made for cooking. It's the same thing as far as I know. So maybe there's something that I don't know, but I'm not really too concerned about heating this directly, because to me heat is heat, and you're transferring heat, in this case from the fire up through the aluminum, up to the water and the rice to cook it up. So I've got it on medium to try to control the heat, and you can see it's already steaming up here. So we're going to try to cook the rice. It should probably take about 10-15 minutes, and so I'm not going to film this entire time, but once the rice is cooked, we're going to go ahead and start to cook up the pork chunks, and use that as our barbecue pork chunks. Now my plan on that is actually to cook the pork first to make sure it's thoroughly cooked before I add the sauce. And I want to do that just to make sure that my pork is indeed cooked. As you can see, the water is starting to boil, and I do have it on just minimum heat right here. So I'm kind of keeping an eye on it. I want it to boil, but I don't want it to like boil over, because I think that's what, you know, that's what the rice cooker normally does when it's cooking on the electric system. And my original plan was to cook the rice using the inverter cooking system, because, you know, I find that the rice cooks while I drive easily, and then when I get somewhere I can turn the unit off. I was planning on cooking the pork chunks using either this system or actually cooking over an open fire, but because of the vehicle repair, I've decided to stay here in this parking lot for now, which is what we're looking at. So you can see the steam is coming out. I know some viewers had concerns about cooking inside a vehicle, and a lot of people that have these stoves, I actually take them outside and cook them outside, which is safer. Oh, I can see it squirting, so it's starting to squirt out. So I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit. I'm going to adjust the heat and turn it down a little. But I can see I might have too much wind here. I may have to put up a windbreaker. But you can see I do have the doors both open. Typically when I cook like this, I have the door open, maybe the window mostly open on the other side. It's to make sure that you have enough oxygen flowing through, you know, adequate ventilation, so that you don't end up poisoning yourself with carbon monoxide. So I've turned down the heat, and now some steam is coming up, and it's not boiling and squirting out. And so I can see right now the point I want to set this thing to cook the rice is just at minimum, right here, right at minimum level. So I've learned that now to cook with this thing, I should probably set it at minimum level. And you can see the steam is blowing, but it's not building up to the point where it's squirting out and leaking everywhere. I may have to turn it down a little bit because it looks like it is. Well, it seems to be good. You want it to boil, you just don't want it to boil over. So, and for those who don't know, this can be used as a windscreen. You can just like set it up and, you know, it'll block the wind like that. So like I blocked wind from that side right there, and you can see the fire is actually a lot more stable. The big concern or safety on these things is that because you're using gas, so I can see it's too much. I'm going to turn it down a little because it's squirting. Oh, the thing went out. The fire went out, and I had it turned down too low. Let me bring it over a little bit so I can set up the windscreen. And I'm going to turn the system back on. You have to go all the way to the end to turn it on, but I'm going to try to set it at minimum again, a little bit below minimum. Because I want it to blow steam like this, but I don't want it to spew water out. Because the real system, when you use it on the inverter, it'll boil, but it never spews water completely out. I don't know if there's flames right there. I think there is. Yeah, there's still flame. It's hard to see this flame sometimes. But I want to keep it at this level at about minimum. You want it to bubble, not spill. So this is essentially how I cook the rice. And I'm going to go ahead and let it, basically, what it's doing right now is the rice is absorbing all that water, making the rice puff up and get soft. And it should be blowing steam, so which it is, but I think it's not blowing enough, so I'm going to turn the heat up just a little bit more, because I want it to evaporate all the steam so that the rice will be done, and then I'll know the rice is done. So you can see it's taken so far, it's been about 10 minutes, a little bit over 10 minutes to cook it like this. And I can see I have too much. That was too much. So I adjust the heat a little bit to turn it down. So yeah, it's a little bit harder to cook it like this than it is to just set it on the electric, on the rice cooker, and let it go automatically. Because on the rice cooker, when you have the right amount of water, it never, spits it out everywhere, like it's wanting to do here with this heat. Because this heat with the fire is actually less controlled than it is with the electric. So I'm watching the level and trying to keep it from squirting, but I don't want the fire to burn out either. And that's why the wind guard is up here, because wind is flowing through and it was hitting the flames and blowing it out. So right now the rice is cooking. And I'm going to go ahead and let it finish cooking up. And then we'll go ahead and start cooking up the barbecue. Yeah, you can see that. I got Bullseye Everyday barbecue sauce from the Dollar Tree. And of course we'll be using the Walmart, if I can find it again. Oh, here it is. I'm going to be cooking up Walmart stew meat. So that should be very interesting. Until next time, everybody, I hope you found this information useful. You can see the rice is nearly finished. It'll probably be finished in about 5 more minutes or so. It'll totally evaporate the water, and the rice should be cooked. And I'm going to remove this unit and go ahead and cook up the pork, the barbecue pork. So until next time, take care. God bless you all. I hope you found this information useful. If you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, you'll want to hit that subscribe button and to be updated with the latest uploads and, get the latest information. You'll want to click the notification bell button. I want to thank you all again for joining me. Until next time, everybody, have a great day. Bye-bye now.